Hi, and welcome back to the Impact Teaching YouTube channel. So my name is Laura Alexander, and today's video is going to be about making friends during your teaching placement in Poland. So I've just got back from 6 months teaching in Poland, and I am a very extroverted person. So it was really important to me to meet lots of new people and make some good friends. Now, having been back for a couple of weeks from my placement, I feel confident that I've made lifelong friends and I met loads of people that I otherwise wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about making friends before you go to Poland. So when you meet some of the people that will be teaching in the same city. And then I also want to talk about making friends when you actually arrive in Poland and you start teaching. So, meeting some of the foreign teachers before you actually get to Poland. The great thing about Impact Teaching is that they have orientation days, which give you a chance to meet the other foreign teachers that will be teaching in the same country and the same city as you. So I taught in Warsaw, so I was really lucky that there were loads of other foreign teachers going to the same city. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we weren't able to have an orientation day. But we did create a group chat, which was really useful. So people would exchange interview tips. They would talk about where they are in the process of the applications, things like this. But the most useful thing about this pre-departure group chat was that other people were also looking for temporary accommodation for when they arrive in Poland. So before you start renting your flat, you're going to need to stay in either a hotel, a hostel, an Airbnb. The most cost-efficient way to do that is to stay in an Airbnb with friends or a hostel. So we actually had the best of both worlds. Before we went to Poland, a group of 4 or 5 of us decided to rent an Airbnb. So we stayed in a really nice Airbnb for really cheap, and then we actually moved to another Airbnb, and then we stayed in a hostel. And this is a great way to stay in a hostel as well. If you've never stayed in a hostel before and are maybe a little bit nervous about staying in a hostel like I was, then it's great to stay with other people. And now I absolutely love hostels. So meeting these people before you fly out is great because it means you're not arriving and staying in a foreign country by yourself. You don't have to pay for your accommodation completely yourself. It's just a lot more cost efficient, and I think it is a really valuable thing to have people around you when you first arrive in a foreign country. Talking of first arriving in a foreign country, the pre-departure chat is a great way to see when people will arrive. So if you don't want to be the first to get there, or if you don't want to be the last to get there, then you can kind of see when people are planning on arriving. And you can actually even fly out with a friend. So I flew out with one of the teachers that I met on the group chat pre-departure, and we're still friends today. So it just shows that you can make some really good friends with the pre-departure group chat. And as more foreign teachers start to arrive, it's easy on the group chat. They'll just text, "Oh, I've just landed in Warsaw," and then everyone can go and meet them. And it just makes a really nice, tight community feel. Which is really good because if your friendship group in Poland is like mine, you'll find that you're still friends throughout the whole thing, a very close-knit group and still friends even after you return home. So let's talk about making friends when you actually arrive in Poland and are on your teaching placement. So as I mentioned already, a big part of your social circle will probably be the foreign teachers, and this can be really helpful because if you have any problems with your school or have any questions about work permits and things like that, it's really useful to have people going through the same thing as yourself. And it's also just great to have other people you can share lesson planning tips with and things like that. So to make friends with your other foreign teachers, as I said already, it will just happen naturally because you'll be talking on the group chats before you go. And you'll be obviously staying in shared accommodation when you get there if you decide, and things like that. But to make sure that you stay friends, it's a good idea to do loads of fun activities together. So when you first arrive in Poland, there's probably so many foods you want to try, so many places you want to visit. And it's a great way to bond with your friends, to go on train journeys to other cities, kind of doing all the things you had on your Poland checklist. Me and my friends did quite a few fun things, loads of escape rooms. And me and my friend went to a shooting range. We also spent loads of time discovering Warsaw together, going to cute thrift stores, kind of doing things that we all had a mutual interest in. So you're probably wondering who you can make friends with outside of that group of foreign teachers. So obviously, being a recent graduate myself, I very much was missing the student life. And I actually met a group of Erasmus students very early on when I arrived in Poland. Originally, I actually only met one Erasmus student, but then they introduced me to all their friends and my social circle became a lot bigger. So I met this person at a hostel, and it's a great way to meet new people and possible friends, as you'll find lots of people that are visiting Poland, whether that be for studying or like the foreign teachers that need temporary accommodation, will be staying in things like hostels, and they'll also be speaking English. So I met loads of German, Portuguese, Spanish, French, Erasmus, there's so many, and their common language is English. So it's easy to try and make conversation with them, as it can be a bit harder to make friends with Polish locals because of that language barrier. So as I said, recent graduate, very much missing the university lifestyle. Being friends with the Erasmus students was a great way to make the most of lots of parties, traveling around Poland. So for instance, if your teaching schedule is slightly different to your friends that are foreign teachers, you'll find the Erasmus students probably have a lot more free time. So if you want to go on a trip 1 week and your friends are busy, hopefully some of your friends from a different circle will be free. So if that sounds appealing to you, the best way to meet students, whether that be Polish students or Erasmus students, is probably, as I said, staying in hostels, going to bars, going to clubs, and most likely as well, if you're staying in a short-term lease, your flatmates could also be students, either Polish students or Erasmus students. And you'll find with Polish students there isn't the same language barrier, because the younger generation of Polish people definitely has more access to learning English. So another great way to meet new people during your time in Poland is to go to some local classes. So you'll find that local classes really attract expats. I don't know why, I guess they're trying to make the most of their time in Poland. But I went to an MMA class, so a mixed martial arts class, with 2 other foreign teachers. And there were people from America, England, Ukraine, India, a real mix of people. So the class was done in English, fortunately for me, as it's the only language I would be able to follow. And you'll find that you can meet people in those settings and you'll see them quite regularly if you go to the classes regularly. And it's so easy to then meet those people in different contexts, because you probably have more than just the one shared interest. So on that note of talking about going to classes and things like that, it's a really good idea when you get to Poland to try things that are maybe out of your comfort zone or just out of your everyday life, because that is how you meet new people. You have to leave your house and go do fun things to meet fun people. So if your friends want to go for a bar crawl or to a club, or if they want to go and meet some of their housemates' friends, if they want to go to an MMA class, I would suggest that if you're looking to make as many friends as possible, it's best to go along with that and just kind of be swept away with it, go with the flow, and you will meet so many new people. So as we just spoke about, a great way to make friends is to hang out with the people that you live with. As I said, it's easy to become close with those people because you'll obviously spend lots of time together. But if for some reason you find you don't click with your first lot of housemates, don't be afraid to up sticks and move somewhere else if you have the option. So if you can either extend your lease or move elsewhere, even if you feel quite settled, it can still be a good choice to move somewhere where you have the opportunity to make more friends. Don't be afraid to kind of put yourself out there and try something new if you think that you could be meeting new people and be happier somewhere else. As daunting as it is to move everything, it's definitely worth it. And lastly, maybe a way you've already thought about to make friends is the people that will be at your school with you. So most likely you'll be working with some other foreign teachers, not necessarily through Impact Teaching. They could be from different countries, they could be all different ages, but you'll find it's quite easy to become friends with the foreign teachers at your school. And of course, if you can become friends with the Polish teachers, or just the Polish locals in general, you definitely should, because you'll see a different side of Poland. They'll know the cool places to hang out, the best places you should be going, and the language as well, which is very important. And it can be really nice to have work friends, even if you're not so close, that you hang out in other contexts. So I think I've spoke about most of the ways that I think are the main ways to make friends in Poland. But of course, that is not an exhaustive list. There are so many ways. You'll probably meet loads of people just by chance. Like I said, I originally met the Erasmus group just by chance at the hostel. There'll be so many people that you meet that you weren't expecting to meet. Maybe you get on really well with someone you work with. Maybe you went to a knitting class one time and you met your best friend there. There's so many opportunities to make friends. Whether you're an extrovert, an introvert, or whatever you're worried about, you will find lots of people that will be in the same situation as you and keen to make friends. So I hope I have put your mind at ease a little bit if you were worried, and I hope you found some of what I've said useful. Please do comment below if you can think of any other ways, or if you have any fun stories about how you met your close group during your time abroad. I'd love to hear them. So that's everything from me for this video, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!